simulation that you see there is the previous photo simulation from the video simulation we had.
Right.
The new photo simulation will include the fence, but we don't believe that you will even be able to see the fence because it will be at the bottom of the embankment.
I see.
You will look right over top of the fence.
There'll be some fencing on the upper side of the reservoir too, though, won't there?
No, there will only be fencing that will be down at the bottom of the embankment, and there is even in
So only 3 sides of your reservoir will have a fence?
no, the eastern
base,
side.
the base of the
Sure.
Yeah, the rail bed is high enough on the east face of the lower reservoir that the fence that will be on there, because the embankment will go down,
I see.
the fence will be at the bottom of that embankment, and the viewpoint from that higher viewpoint from the rail bed will be literally looking right over top of it.
Okay. Any other questions?
I would like to say too, when you guys do your hydrology study, maybe one thing to keep in mind, I'm definitely not a hydrologist, but in my opinion, the line's been dewatering for many, many years now. They're pumping water out into Steptoe Valley, basically recharging it. So when they do stop dewatering, it won't be recharging as much as it is now. So one thing to keep in mind on that.
Okay. Any other questions? Any discussion? Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move back to item 6. The mayor will recess the regular city council meeting for a public hearing at 5:30 p.m. on the following topics. Item 1, Councilman Carson, public hearing, discussion only. Input from members of the public on the following City of Ely draft mission statement. The City of Ely is a charming mountain community whose mission is to enhance the quality of life for those who live in or visit our city by being responsive to public input and providing fiscally responsible and exceptional municipal services which contribute to our unique community's development. If there's anybody from the public who would like some input on this mission statement that the city's working on adjusting, we'll take that now.
Can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. That's my motto.
We're open
So
for
that's me
suggestions.
now. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 6.1 regarding the city's mission statement, while the statement paints a pretty picture, the council's action is the opposite. There is selective enforcement of codes, blatant and continuous failures to provide public information, and to be responsive to public input or requests. There is no exceptional municipal services provided. That reminds you, you get to reimburse me for sewer problems.
Mr. Chambers, the purpose of this mission statement is aspirational, certainly. Do you have some thoughts on how we should change it?
Yeah, tell the truth. That's all.
Okay.
Everything you got in there is false. If you're going to do something positive, provide the information. Allow others to use their property as others do. You're not doing it. I understand you don't like hearing it, but I'm getting tired of being put on the back burner. This community, while you say is going forward, is not. Downtown is shrinking, and it's not because of any exceptional services provided. You can say what you want. I have skin in the game. My neighbors have skin in the game. I've seen what downtown looks like before. If you think this is happening,
Is there a mission statement you would suggest?
no, I didn't know why you were going to do this, but I wanted to make sure that what you do put in there reflects what is going on, and you're not doing it.
Okay.
Don't mislead the public.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Comments from the public?
Hi everyone, I'm Jess Trask. I have some comments. I think that you guys came up with a great mission statement because it's 1 to 3 sentences, it's around 50 words, it's clear about your vision for the city and your goals for the city. So I think it's a 10 out of 10. Well done.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Can I go up to the public again to make a comment on
a public hearing, you can make your comment from right there.
Okay, I think it's fine. The only word I like to see changed or suggested, a different word, is the word charming.
I don't like that either.
Charming is like, oh, we're so sweet. You know, I think we need something a little more rugged, western. That's my only comment. Other than that, I agree with all.
That word is involved.
Can we, I don't know, what if we said something like, the city of Ely is a
Is a mountain.
Rather,
Or
high
like
desert,
a-
high desert.
High desert, well, high desert. Charming is,
And I'm never a fan of.
sound like sweet and walnuts.
Makes us sound like we're in a Hallmark movie, I agree. Not that there's anything wrong with Hallmark movies. Any other comments anybody would like to share? Hearing none, we'll close the hearing, and we'll return to new business. We're under B3, Mayor Robertson, discussion for possible action, review of ice plant park exhibit for the mayor. Review of ice plant park exhibit for the city of Ely's vacant property on Belford Avenue, APN 001-121-01, with possible determination of terms for the city attorney to include in a deed to future housing developers and approval to order an appraisal on said property.
Make that motion.
That, to do that, okay. Was there anything you wanted to add on that?
Yeah, I will just say, and we'll have to bring this up at a different meeting, but prior to taking any steps on this, we will need to pass an ordinance, essentially to adopt standards for choosing our appraisers. So if we could do that first, and then from there, we can we'll have to either have two appraisers or a single appraiser with a public hearing on the fair market value of the property. And then from there, we'll also need a resolution stating that selling the property is in the best interest of the city.
Okay. So the motion from Councilman Albert, that we do that. Can that include that, Councilman?
Sure, I just love what you said. Just really roll.
Do I have a second? Second from Councilman Williams. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried as ordered. Item 4, Councilman Carson, discussion for possible action, approval to order a new lift station system in the amount of $240,000 to be included in the city's fiscal year 24 budget.
Michael, you're up.
Michael.
What this is we can order the pumps.
Would you give just for the public background of where this is and what the problem is and why it needs to be replaced?
Yes, our lift station out there at the industrial park, the pumps and motors are gone, they're shot. We rebuilt one, but it won't seat properly no more. It's just outdated. And so what we need to do is replace both pumps and motors with new, so we can have the lift station go to the wastewater treatment plant for that place out there. What we're asking, we've got quotes, but all these quotes were done specifically for next year's budget. So July 1st, everybody's given us numbers, but they've inflated them for July,
Anticipated the prices
Yes.
going up.
And so what we'd like to do is get quotes now for proper, today's prices and availability of these pumps and motors and get them ordered now.
Because you're anticipating that even if we ordered them now, we wouldn't take delivery until well after July anyway.
Well, some of them have told us 4 to 6 weeks,
Oh.
and then talking to the treasurer task, we can order these, get them, as long as we don't accept them until July 1st. If we already have them, we can start doing the job instantly. July 1st. We've got 4 quotes anywhere from $168 down to $100,000 for 2 pumps and motors. We've hired a contract, we got 1 quote from a contractor to install them, we're expecting another one, and he's roughly right around $60,000. Everybody we've talked to on the companies with these pumps and motors have said more likely they'll be cheaper than what we quoted. if we can do it now.
Okay, so that 240,000, that's gonna include labor?
Yes, that would be the pumps, motors, and the installation.
So with that being said, do we need to just modify that agenda item to including labor costs? Because it just says new lift station in the amount of 240,000.
Is that something, is that on the motion?
Okay.
And this is a worst case scenario figure that you
Yes.
It may be cheaper.
Oh, it probably will be cheaper. More, it will be cheaper.
That you just said that on record.
I know.
Okay. What's two of them?
Two of the updated, you know, just about every one of them is between 100 and 130. And that's up, you know, higher with the 60,000 on top of that. Talking with Leo, Treasurer Trask, and Clerk Lee, we'll have to put them out to bid since we're over the 100,000. And then the contractor, we can just get quotes.
Yes, because that's between 50 and 100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Or-
And of course, if anything changes drastically, you'll come back to us.
Yes.
You better.
Hopefully.
You don't show he was wrong.
I'll entertain a motion then.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion for the $240,000, including labor for installation.
Okay. We have a motion for Councilman Oliver. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh. We'll let Councilman Carson go. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Councilman Allworth, Councilman Elliott, discussion only, update on Porter Group efforts on the city of Ely's behalf to secure federal and state funding.
Okay, we discussed, BJ and myself talked with Cameron this last Monday. Everything's still sort of, old pattern, but Cameron wanted to relay too, and our staff was amazing on getting information to them. Our staff, including BJ and Mr. Watts, they were just jumping on the spot. So it gets down to the final thing. We met all the deadlines. Thanks a lot, Jennifer Lee, for all the work you've done on this. But the 4 items we have out there, wastewater treatment plant upgrades, Kansas street improvements, for walking, lighting, and so forth, making it safer. Security cameras throughout the city, to sort of, eyes in the sky, I guess you call it. And fire station solar panel improvements, if we can do some grants on that. So there were the 4 we got dished out there. And then like the mayor said earlier in his State of the City thing, we were awarded, $3.3 million for the central sewer upgrade and $2.43 for the Lower East Ely water main upgrade. So it's a good effort, like the mayor said, and we're moving along. It's big money. It's giving our poor treasurer hair pulling things once in a while. But we'll get it, Jeanette. We'll get it. Okay, so she gave you the thumbs up. That's it. That's on record too.
That's awesome. Anything else to add? Okay, well, thank you. Item 6, council members, city engineer Alberg, discussion for possible action, approval of agreement for reimbursement of preliminary engineering costs between the state of Nevada, Department of Transportation, and the city of Ely in connection with phase 2 of NDOT's Ely downtown renovation project. Is there anything anybody needs to, questions or anything on this? I'll entertain a motion if there are none.
I'll move to approve.
Motion from
I'll
Councilman Carson, second from Councilman Allworth. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried so ordered. Item 7, Councilmember City Clerk Lee. Discussion only, review of written request to the State of Nevada Department of Administration regarding the implementation of an after-hours usage hourly charge to cover utility expenses at 125 Mill Street.
So both agencies have acknowledged receipt of the letter that they got earlier this week and are processing the city's request. Any questions?
I'd like to comment. I had quite a discussion with Clerk Lee, and she finally got me on where she was coming at, and I agree with this. The most important thing is that the city staff realized our utilities at that building way exceeding what we had projected. It's an old building, diesel fuel. It was crazy. So Clerk Lee is going to recommend it. I'm sure the state's going to accept it. I mean, they need to see the price of inflation. So good work on that. Thanks for your patience dealing with me.
Any other questions? Okay, with that, we'll move on to item 8, public comment. Yeah,
Is that really the address of the armory,
125 North.
or is it First Street?
It is, it's 125 mil.
Poppy dot gov, okay, thank you.
I googled it earlier, it is.
Craig, is that one we need to fix? Is that an address that's on your list?
No.
Oh.
I'll put it on my list.
All right. Thank you. With that, we'll move back to item 8, public comment. Please state your name for the record, and you will have 3 minutes.
Carrie Finbar, 1417 Mill Street. I have one little section prepared, and the rest I'm going to add lib. On the City Public Works Supervisor report, I would like to commend all the departments working together to keep the roads clear and passable. It has been an unusual snow year, and staffing sources are very limited. Thank you to the council for determining at the last meeting that spending $497,500 from RGC funds this year is better spent not changing Mill and Murray to one-way streets when we clearly have roads in dire shape and in desperate need of patching. These funds will be better utilized patching existing roads instead of creating new traffic patterns at this time. Now to my ad lib. I have to agree with Mr. Allworth, the pump storage will ruin Duck Creek, but that's exactly how I feel about these Bell Avenue apartments coming out my new front door. I do believe, same as Mr. Allworth, that pump storage won't be profitable to that company, and they're gonna turn and build and sell that to somebody else, which is exactly what I think is gonna happen to those apartments off of Great Basin and Bell Avenue. They're not rentable at $2,000 a month. A teacher's salary is a gross wage in a month of $3,247. They can't afford a net payment of $2,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. But with that, I do want to say thank you. We did complete our infrastructure improvements on Bell Avenue. We spent over $18,000 this year on that project. We did get the approval and the mapping all done through Basin Engineering. That was completed on March the 1st. And so thank you to the council for letting that go through. We were happy to get that infrastructure in place. And just because the irony is not lost on me, and I don't know if all of you know this or not, but the RPC was on the agenda to be disbanded by the county commission, and I actually spoke in favor of retaining it. Because I think that those people do a good job. I'm just very unhappy with what happened last week. But I do have confidence in those people, but it certainly isn't lost to me that I got screwed over from them, and that's just where that's at. I'm not happy about it, but it's done and over, and once I say my piece, I have to move on, because otherwise it's just gonna keep eating at me. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, again, I'm requesting a copy of the letter, memo, or any other correspondence communicated to City Clerk Jennifer Lee can correct the encroachment of her fence on the city right-of-way, enforcing pedestrians and handicapped on the busy road and traffic. 1033, again, we have rules and regulations or we don't. I want to remind you folks, after the city gave me information to put in a sidewalk at 710 Avenue G, I did it to code, and you turned around and sued me, claiming that it was a hazard. Again, we have rules and regulations or we don't. Mr. Mayor, I want to remind you that I'm again requesting a complete list of properties and individuals that the city has permitted and allowed to park RVs on the city lots and city streets while living in them. I attended regular meetings of the Planning Commission, now I'm a member. I've not seen one permit. Again, you either have rules and regulations or you don't. Stop the selective enforcement. Mr. Mayor, we have a concern on 14th Street, between 14th and 15th Street, Avenue D, no ADA access along there. State Highway Project, again, rules and regulations, where are they? I want to remind you, Mr. Mayor, on the corner of 710 Avenue G, when Q&D finished their project, they left me with a 1-foot drop coming off my parking lot. They were supposed to correct it. Here we are, better than a year later. Again, rules and regulations. Why would you put another 6-inch curb and gutter on the new curb and gutter and cause a hazard like that for anybody walking off that parking lot? Mr. Mayor, I have a major concern in regards to the drainage coming down from the Bath property located on the west side of the railroad tracks on 7th Street. Again, the water is causing me problems on my property. I had a bid from the Direct Brothers for $24,500. You folks, again, you know what the city code says. One may not drain onto another person's property, but you're not addressing it. You need to look at that. Mr. Mayor, the planning commission, the city to date does not address city code violations by previous and present members of the planning commission as well as some of the city council and county commission. Again, they need to comply with city codes that they may have formulated and adopted or resign. We either have rules and regulations, we don't. They pertain to everyone, or they don't pertain to anyone. Mr. Mayor, I've been watching the Centennial Building, the choir building, for quite some time. You don't have proper contractors there, you don't have permits there, and yet the ban goes on, and again, selective enforcement. We gotta stop that. Mr. Mayor, ongoing concern in regards to the QD project, or state highway, no ADA access, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you,
We need
Mr.
to
Chairman.
address that.
Is there any other public comment? Here, hearing and seeing none, we'll close public comment, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion from Councilman Alders, second from Councilman Williams, Upper, all in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
So much for your.
Thank you. Thank you. That was my question. I'm like,
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatchis reporting.